Well, I didn't really write a script for this video because I want everything I'm going to say to be as sincere as possible. I know it's funny to release this video right after Scooch announced that he's quitting League, but after watching his video and realizing that a lot of the things that he talked about are exactly the same things I talked about in my spicy video, I realized I'm making the right call. At this point, I'm pretty sure everyone knows that when it comes to League of Legends, 2022 was not a great year. Besides the amazing Worlds, which to be honest, that was a really cool moment, League itself wasn't really in a good place, and a lot of people started to feel that. Normally when people make these videos, you're gonna be like, it's another person who feels grumpy about League of Legends. But as I mentioned in the past, I've seen these videos so many times before. I was there when other creators quit. I've seen it all. It happens every 3 or 4 years. But this time, all the doomsaying feels different. Because this time, everyone agrees that League of Legends got kind of frozen in time. Now you may be wondering, where the heck am I going with this? People know that I believe the world of League of Legends is probably the best fantasy world out there. With the depth this universe has, I really believe it. However, in 2022, it stopped. There are a couple of theories as to why this happened. We know that some writers were now moved onto the MMO team. For example, the brilliant Anthony Reynolds, who is responsible for the amazing Ruination novel, as well as the really awesome story of Viego, not to be confused with the Sentinels of Light. Well, Ghostcrawler confirmed that he is now writing stories for the MMO, which makes me confident that the MMO is in really good hands. And then we have other writers, which I have to shout out, such as Scott Hawks. Back in the day when everyone was making gameplay videos and I was the only nerd making League of Legends lore videos, I never talked about it, but I have to say, I actually felt kinda lonely. Because even though I was a League of Legends creator, I wasn't League of Legends creator. I legitimately had no friends on YouTube while everyone was making collabs and having fun together. So yeah, I never mentioned it, but it was dark. And Scott Hawks was among the first writers who ever approached me. Now, back in the days, he was actually writing The Burning Tides. I believe he is responsible for creating Raven, one of the best side characters in the universe. And he was now moved onto Project L. So even though Project L is a fighting game, they have an excellent narrative director. So I don't know if Project L is going to have lore, but you know, I'm confident it's in good hands. Unfortunately, what all of this means is that writers are working on future projects, but they are not working on League of Legends right now. It could be because Riot is looking for more opportunities outside of League of Legends. Who knows, maybe they realize that League of Legends is not gonna be their future. And this resulted in a really poor year. In 2021, which was an amazing year, outside of stories related to new champions, because those are gonna come out every year regardless of what's happening. When it comes to the stories that are expanding the world, in 2021 we got 14 new stories. That is not even counting the Sentinels of Light event, which was a canonical event on top of that. Well, this year, in 2022, we got 2 stories. And the Star Guardian event with a story that no one cared about. This means that this year, besides just new champions and 2 stories, I had nothing to cover. I truly had nothing to talk about. On top of that, because Riot is focusing on competitive play and esports, any and all casual videos suffer because of that. Because the game simply doesn't support being a casual enjoyer of the game. What's worse, because this year we only got 1 new story every 4 months. When we finally did get something, people didn't care. And suddenly my lore videos did worse than when I was talking about any other topic. Because by the time we got something, people forgot about the universe and they moved on to other games. And now there is a rumor that Arcane 2 will not come out in 2023. Specifically, there was a tweet that said that the script for Arcane 2 only just wrapped up. Which pretty much means that yeah, we are not getting it this year. Which means I can't even rely on Arcane 2 keeping the channel afloat. Now, of course, there is the possibility that perhaps my lore videos were not doing that well because the quality wasn't that good. And that's where I need to talk about something. For a while, I really felt like my creativity was being choked. There is not much I can do besides just covering stories which people can read themselves and complain about stuff when stuff isn't good. Yes, I can talk about interesting topics that are in this universe. For example, I wanted to make a series where I explain every region for beginners, because if someone is heading into the MMO, at least you can learn about the world. But even there, I am still limited by the fact that if Riot doesn't give us more stories, it's going to end eventually. And even in that case, I am really just talking about stuff that was written. I know that to some people it is still interesting, but I feel like I can be more creative. And I was so happy when I was working on League of Retcons. If you have not seen that video, and I absolutely understand if you haven't, because that one was a wild one, that video is what I want to make in the future. Not specifically the genre and the topic, but the quality of that video. That's what I want to make. That's the creativity that I'm talking about. It's kind of funny that after Arcane release, I remember I said that I can push this channel to 1 million subscribers with League, but then I will have to go into variety. I knew it would be hard, but I knew it would be possible. I mean, I've been on the YouTube grind for over 12 years now. What I didn't know back then is that 2022 would happen, and League's lore would just stop. In fact, the reason why I started talking about the MMO is because I really had nothing else to talk about. So in a way, the MMO videos exploded because I was put into a bad situation. So then, what is going on? Simply said, in 2023, I am going to cover more than just League of Legends. However, I'll do it the way I have always made my videos. Different from everyone else. Back when everyone was making guides on how to play champions, I made guides on how to play against champions. And back when no one made lore videos, I made lore videos. And this time, instead of just first impressions or game reviews, I'm going to show you interesting video game worlds which you simply don't know about. And if you know about them, I'm going to show you details in the world which you don't know about. For example, how many of you know that in the Cyberpunk universe, according to the source books, with all the augments, some people turn themselves into furries. And it's not just furry creatures, some people turn themselves into sharks and rhinos. I mean, it makes sense, the tech is there, but you will never learn about these animalistic augments from the game. And they didn't appear in Edge Runners either. And even though at this point pretty much everyone played Undertale, how many of you know about the wars of humans against monsters which happened in that universe? And since we know that the big villain of Hades 2 is going to be Kronos, why don't we talk about the fact that he ate his children and he cut off his father's pee-pee with a scythe? It is these awesome details in the worlds of video games which you may not know about if you don't pay attention to the background. And that's what I want to make in the future. I am still going to cover League of Legends. If you thought that I'm quitting League, no, I'm not. Cinematics, big lore moments, MMO topics, Arcane, even all the Riot Forge games. I am still going to cover all of it, but expect my creativity to go into something even more awesome. Also, I think I'll convert Rift News back into the form it started with, which is basically focusing on the big news instead of filling the episode with skins. Now, with all of this said, I have to mention that we do now have the join button. It should be only $2 and that is all there is. I didn't make any pricier tiers, it's just $2 and that's it. What you get there is that I'll basically tease all my future videos there. And I have already posted about the videos that I am already working on. Also, I will most likely use that membership for people to tell me what games they want me to cover next. So, in January, for a little bit, I'll take a tiny break. And then, when I'll come back, expect more than just League. I know the first video I'm going to make of this new format is going to be on Stray. A game that was nominated for a Game of the Year, even though there was no way it was gonna win. But Stray has a really creepy world that is hidden behind happy robots. But just know that I will also cover other games closer to their DLCs and sequels. I mean, when it comes to variety gaming, 2023 is gonna be insane. So, in 2023, expect the same neckbeard, expect the same pajamas, expect the same microphone and green screen. And slippers. But also something way better than what I've been working on so far. So, here's a little snippet of all the videos I am currently working on at the same time. Please send help.